Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I want to talk about the most surprising thing that I've experienced when it comes to trying to help people reach their goals, right? And this isn't in like a judgmental tone because, I always want the best for people, but like I've always been taken back because a lot of the things I learned when I was at a very low point in my life. Velocity banking, I literally learned when I was like making $20,000 a year and very angry that I was learning. It's like, well, if I had $200,000 salary or something like that, yeah, I'd totally be able to do it. And what I found out recently, and I talk to people who make 200,000 a year. I even talked to a Korean lady from China who has an Amazon business doing $300,000 a year in sales, and she just everything I say is almost like she's scared. It's like, how do you do $300,000 in sales yet you can't get a line of credit? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. And she's always like, well, I can't do it for X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And as a person who I didn't make money for 10 years, and most of it is just because I was just quite depressed that for many reasons, especially because college was a big waste of time, and I didn't really know how to handle that. But eventually I did make some money, $20,000 a year, and then I was learning about velocity banking, and I was like, when the f am I going to learn this? And then I'd also do things like send letters to potential home sellers, and then I would be like, I've never bought real estate before, and they would actually call me and be like, yeah, yeah, and I'd be acting like, yeah, oh yeah, I'll definitely take a look at your house, and I pretend like I knew what I was doing. I think every person who deals with real estate kind of has that, especially in the beginning. Is like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Like, I don't have the money to buy your house, and I only have $20,000, or I only make 20,000 a year. What the f am I going to do? And what's funny is that people who have a lot more resources than me right now, let's say they make over $200,000 a year, they honestly can't do the things that I thought I could do at $20,000 a year, and I was quite delusional. I was very delusional. Like, why in the world would I learn about velocity banking when no bank is going to lend me debt, right? Or lend me money? Because, as I've said it many times before, banks don't lend money to people who need it. But what I found is that with most people, is that they get into this comfort zone, right? So even if they're making a lot of money, let's say more than 100, $200,000 a year, if there's anything outside their comfort zone that they see that they can actually help them, they can't do it because of fear, right? They literally cannot do it. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that so many people have these like psychological barriers where they literally just cannot do anything new. We'll talk about, let's say, velocity banking. They'll like watch these videos for like years and years and years and just not do anything. And I'm like, that blows my mind, you know? And again, that's kind of like, I know this sounds cliche, but really, you're the one who holds yourself back. That's really it. Like, I'm to be honest, I'm probably rooting for you more than you're rooting for yourself, which is why I'm like always disappointed every single day the moment I step outside my house, because every time I get excited about something, man, you know what comes out of the other person's mouth that I'm talking to? They're like, I can't do this because of XYZ, or I can't do this because of ABC, and I'm like so surprised that so many people are like this, but really, most people can't do anything because they're just afraid. And I don't really blame them, but anytime you do anything outside of the norm, most people can't understand it because it's outside of the norm, right? Buying houses at a discount, that's outside of the norm. That's literally the definition of outside of the norm. Doing velocity banking, if the average time it takes to pay off a 30-year mortgage is more than 30 years, okay, more than 30 years, then that's outside of the norm, right? Outside of the norm, okay? And so, yeah, so a lot of people, they just can't do it because they're just afraid and they rely too much on other people's opinions. Now, here's the thing, never do anything illegal, right? Don't ever do anything illegal. But if it's legal and ethical, but just not a lot of other people doing it, then why not just kind of give it a shot, right? Why not just dip your toe in the water? But too many people are even afraid to do that, right? And so, I was just looking more about like, is it just me or people do nothing out of fear? And it is true. I mean, many people just do nothing out of fear. And so, the most common fears is the fear of failure, right? I remember when I was like sending my first real estate letters, I was just like, I have to get a deal. I have to get a deal. And then I think really like the biggest thing that affected me is I really wanted people to support me. And the saddest thing that I found out is that as I become more successful, people just kind of ignore the success, and then they were never like, it's like, well, these people were never going to support me anyways. That's kind of heartbreaking when you first realize that, right? But again, here's some common fears: fear of failure, fear of judgment from others, right? I remember when I first went to go like look at my first house that I know I definitely could afford. I was like, oh, I hope these people don't judge me because I can't afford it, right? Or I only make $20,000 a year. Fear of the unknown, right? Fear of the unknown, where it's like, well, what am I doing? Like I'm sending letters and they can't, you know, they're not going to. Like who writes letters these days, or stuff like that. And it's just fear of making mistakes. That's a big one too. But a lot of people, this is really what holds them back. I mean, you are your own worst enemy, and that kind of makes me sad. So, to be honest, the reason why I'm making this video is because I honestly don't know who I can help. I honestly don't know. I hope with these videos they do help people, but because, I'm talking to a blank screen and I'm just talking to air, and I get it. I know some of you in the comments have told me that you really appreciate what I do, but sometimes when I talk to people face to face, it's I almost feel a little bit sad because every time I get excited about something that I know that I've done and is really, really easy to do, but is a little bit out of the norm, almost 97% of people, we'll just use that statistic, always like almost like a Pavlovian reaction, give me a response of, "Oh my goodness, I can't do this because of insert excuse here," right? And again, most people can't. They're always afraid to do anything out of the norm, and that's why I say that in order for you to succeed in society, you essentially have to be a leader, right? You have to do things that most people are not willing to do, and the 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 biggest responsibility that a leader or entrepreneur or business owner has is that you can tolerate ambiguity, and that's something that most people cannot handle, right? That really is most people cannot handle. So, right. Okay, well, this is a Korean Atlanta mentorship, so just words of motivation for you. If you've been watching Velocity Banking videos and you're like, I can't make my zero savings go to zero, but I know I want to do it. I know there are people there like that, and I've been watching these videos. And again, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying that's reality, right? And again, there are a lot of you who've been making great progress. And email me, and congratulations for all the progress you made. Okay, well, that's it for today, or at least this video. Have a great day, everybody. It's Korean Land Mentorship.